This is the road to B-Rock camping area. Back in February, the water was up to here. We couldn't have gone much further. Came back and revisited sometime around May when the water was down to see if any work had started on the cleanup of the B-Rock area, but it's still closed off. We'll check it out and see. Doesn't look like much has been done. That dumpster is still the way it was in February when the flood picked it up and moved it. So that hasn't been touched. Also noticing from a distance that the river is way down, so we'll be looking at that too. That's the bear sign that used to sit on the other side of the street. It's not been touched. I don't see any sign of any work that's gone on around here this summer. It's the entrance to campsites 22 and 23 up the hill. No work here. The double campsites, I think it's 25 and 26, and the location up there in the woods of the Sublimity Springs Cemetery up there behind that fence. Nobody's been here doing any work in a while either. That's the road on into the camping area in the old Sublimity Bridge. Most of the debris and mud that was on the road is still on the road. Of course, they did come in and clean all the debris off the old Sublimity Bridge, which was needed to be done for structural reasons. And that's about all that's been done down here. Sublimity Springs, B-Rock across the river, 1792 to 1942. I was down here 2 or 3 months ago, and the fire department was here because someone had tried to set fire to the old Sublimity Bridge, and those boards that were burning have been removed. They have temporary plywood across it here. And the river is way down. Need some rain. Certainly a heck of a lot different than it was after the February rains, when this bridge was underwater. And so at some point, I assume that the Forestry Service will hire a contractor to come in here and start cleaning things up. It's a really neat historical marker. If you're ever down here at the old Sublimity Bridge, it talks about the old hotels. Rockcastle Springs Hotel. A veritable Eden for the kids, a sanitarium for the invalids, a paradise for lovers, and a haven of rest for the tired. Rockcastle Springs. Warner Hotel, which was up on the hill not far from here. Built entirely of chestnut, provided overnight lodging for loggers and peddlers. It's a neat historical marker. If you're ever down here, take some time to read that. But all is quiet and growing up on a Sunday morning at Bee Rock. This is Forestry Road 4144, also known as Bald Rock Cemetery Road. And this is the old Bald Rock Cemetery. It's an oldie. Been here many, many years. A lot of unmarked stones. Still active with fairly recent burials. I was talking to an old timer whose family's buried here a while back, who shared a little bit of the history of this place. There are Taylors and Holts, I think some Delphs in here. Most of them are unmarked field stones. But ancestors still keep it mowed off. I think there may be some Delphs still in here. That's a Bolton. Lots of field stones. But the gentleman I was talking to a few months back, last time I was here, told me something I didn't know. I don't know a lot about the history of this area. But he said that right over that way, through the woods, is the old Mount Victory Road. And you would take that road down to the river and ford the river on into Pulaski County. From the cemetery, the road 4144, the Bald Rock Cemetery, continues. I think there's some private cabins down in there. But if you continue on down toward the river, that goes into what's known as No Business Branch. And one of the locals told me a few months back that the reason it's called No Business Branch is because no one has any business down in there. Pretty rugged terrain down in No Business Branch. And that is the gate that is over the old Mount Victory Road. I've never hiked it, but it's on my things to do list. Let's see if we can hike that down to the river someday. This is Forestry Road 4144, the Bald Rock Cemetery Road. The old Bald Rock Cemetery there on the hill. This is an update on Highway 312. This is the old road bed on what was known as Johnny Carr Hill, coming down this direction. We used to drive this direction and cross the old low water bridge down here over Craig's Creek. Put a video on back in the early spring, late winter that showed the construction of the new bridge, which is now done and open for business. So there is no longer a road over Johnny Carr Hill. They left the old abutments for the bridge. Which is a pretty good drop. Seems like the old bridge used to be closer to water than this, but it's deceptive when you used to drive across it. And the old road bed went right on up the hill, part of 312. Now, on the other side of that guardrail is the new bridge. So for old time's sake, we'll walk up Johnny Carr Hill. instead of driving over it like we did for years. Great improvement on Highway 312. Great improvement. So the old road bed went that way, and what an improvement, the new road bed. The old bridge abutment over Craig's Creek. So we now stand here on the edge of the new bridge.